Grandma. Haven't climbed rope in a long time. But it's about time to get back into it. Everything old is new again, and it's slippery, and man, I might have hung this too far up into the tree. I don't think we're going to be going up that high today, but anyways, try our best. Of course, it's raining. It rains all the time down here. We have 2 seasons. It's either raining or I wish it would rain, but it keeps the rivers flowing, keeps our ground muddy. Of course, all that mud affects the people down here, but those sexy web-footed Middle Holly Valley women are cute. Used to do these in South Carolina all the time. I moved to South Carolina in 2000. I was like 34. Found the West Side Barbell System a year or 2 afterwards. And I'll tell you more about the South Carolina team some other day, but in 2005, I went to the Mudville Grill in Jacksonville, Florida, and had a mega match. And I was 3 or 4 years into the West Side Barbell System, like I said. I think I just started banging with Chad Silvers and Fritz Corey like the year or 2 before. For the first 2 or 3 years, I couldn't beat anybody. Matt Harris, Kevin Hicklin, those are both like 170 some pounds. Well, Chad Silver's like a 178, 180 pound guy. Kevin Hicklin was like a 175. Matt Harris was somewhere in there. Russell and Abinett was like 140. I couldn't beat him for 2 years. But when the West Side System started kicking in for me, and I was still making stuff up then, it wasn't as mature as it is now for my training. But first round, Dave Randall, maybe 300 pounds of nervous Georgia horsepower. Probably huge guy. And match 1, rookie mistake. I go in, boom, catch him on my bicep, and Dave comes down almost like push car, God rest his soul, and presses into me like that. Boom, and I caught it right on my bicep. Ugly start, and I go, man, I'm in for a long day, because after this is a tournament. But let's see, then I arm wrestled. I think there's 5 or 6 of us in there. I think my next match was a Mark Taggart. And then Dave Randall arm wrestled some people. Then Dave Randall arm wrestled Cleve Dean. And Dave Randall does that, boom. And Cleve catches him like I did, but Cleve catches him more out. You know, still on his bicep, but Cleve is fighting there. And Cleve held that big man. Cleve held that big man for some time. And now this wasn't Cleve in his prime by no means. This wasn't 500 pound carrying a pig in each hand Cleve Dean. But first time I ever met the man, he was still a monster to me and still a legend. Just a hero. I remember seeing him on the Real People TV show years before I got into arm wrestling. And just a nice guy. I went up and asked for his autograph. I had my notebook, the lifting books I have. I used to take one to tournaments and write down what I did and how I lost, you know, because Arm TV was just getting started, and that Gary Roberts loved arm wrestling. Man, he did a lot for our sport. Gary Roberts does not get the recognition he deserves for what he did for arm wrestling. But he was just starting out, so before there was Gary Roberts, there was VHS tapes, if you could find the guy who made them. Hold on. Got my second wingman. Okay. I don't want to climb higher than I can jump. Where was I? Gary Roberts doesn't get the recognition he deserves. Cleve Dean. Cleve, can I have your autograph? I walk up with an 8.5 by 11 composition notebook. Cleve puts his hand on the notebook and traces it. The tips of these fingers are within an inch of an 11.5 piece of paper. The palm of his hand's down here. His thumb and finger hit each side of the 8.5 inches. Trace it all over that page and sign the name. Just a massive hand. So, Dave and Cleve arm wrestle, and they knock the shine off each other. And I go, whew, that's good news. I've been smoked, and I beat some guy. So then, I gotta pull Cleve Dean. And this is, kids, where when you're starting, especially if you're a beginner, find a coach and listen to your coach. Because my coach, Chad Silvers, who never got the recognition he deserved, that man did so much for me. So many people were so instrumental to me in my life. But Chad Silvers, probably more than anybody, getting me started. He says, top roll him. Chad Silvers told Todd Zilla, top roll Cleve Dean. Okay? Palin, get up here. Dog's old. She goes in the river, she'll drown. Palin, come on. Stay away from the river. Gotta make sure I don't have a phone in my pocket in case I gotta go get her. And so I'm down a match, but I won a match. So when I pull Cleve, I think I false start and elbow foul, because you're given 3 false starts, and I tell you kids, don't lose if you still have a couple of false starts on the table. So I think I used one and fouled. But anyways, I top rolled Cleve Dean, and I was faster than him, and I got him over. And I think I beat Cleve faster than Dave Randall did, hitting him outside. But I pulled the Cleve Dean that Dave Randall already beat up on. But man, that man was a nice man. Wow, I liked him. I really liked him. So then, all right. Before I get too tired, I'm sure I can't, but let's just try it. We should do this every Sunday. Ropes and stories, or ropes and lies. Oh, man. Oh, I can't even lift myself. Okay, you're gonna have to give me a few days before I can do that again. Starting to see dead relatives. Kind of woozy. Sunday mornings is deadlift day. Whew. Anyways, where was I? Dave Randall match number 2. Chad, what do I do? Because I got smoked the first time. Chad. Well, top roll him. The man's like 5 foot, 18 inches tall. He's got a hand not as big as Cleve Dean's, but bigger than mine. So, Toddzilla being Toddzilla, I do what I'm told, and I grab under my thumb, try to top roll him. But Dave Randall came in, boom, but he didn't get all of this. He got that, you know, and I freak out. I mean, I'm going nuts inside because it's like, wow, this big old guy just like, and all of a sudden, he felt human. I mean, he felt mortal. And he gets some momentum, boom, and we go over. But not all the way, and I was able to pull him back. And, give me a second. think I elbow fouled, but I think I had him, or I think I pinned him, then I think I fouled. Somehow the match got hazy in my head. But anyways, I was in it. But in the first match, when he comes down, I was like that. These matches, I'm in like this, and he tries to press into that arm, and I got that shoulder in there. So that bicep's protected, and I got that shoulder in there, and then these fingers are just flat, preventing some upward motion. And whole new flavor of ice cream. Oh man. And I think I headbutted him. I think I got in so close, and he was, so he's trying to press, so he wants the center. I want to get in line with all of that. I'm in the center, and I think I smashed my big old pumpkin head into his old big old watermelon head, and I think his watermelon juice came out. So then, yeah, so I'm up a match, and crowd's going wild. I'm like 198 pounds still. Not the firm and fully packed specimen you see in front of you today, but it's like I beat Cleve, world famous arm wrestler. You know, I didn't like meet him in a fair fight and duel him or anything, but I'm still 5 years in and I'm 39 years old. And I just pinned David Randall. I mean, I can quit. I can quit at this point. Quit arm wrestling forever. So we come back up. How'd the third match with me and Dave Randall go? I think it was a lot of the same. Chad's yelling, basically slow it down, hold him, hit him and hold him. Because when David hit that press, and if he couldn't do it, he would start opening up. And then Chad's whispering to me, if I can stay closed and just maintain form, the whole tide switches to me. So that's what I did. I stayed closer, and I think I had more endurance than him. We used to train in South Carolina like crazy people, and I used to have these huge volume days, walking with sleds, walking with wheelbarrows. We used to carry stuff. We used to, South Carolina had this like rope pulling machine, and we used to just practice for hours. My endurance was really good back then. My speed was better. My skin was so smooth. Oh, I looked like a preteen Swedish boy with a red mustache. But, so, let me see. I'm gonna have to link this video in the description. Yeah, because I think he was tired, so he pressed, and I got it. Boom, I don't think we battled to the losing position anymore. So I think between the match with Cleve and mine and Dave's second match, which was like a couple of starts, I think he just burned out, and I was able to pin him. Won that super match, mega match before the tournament. And nobody had heard of me before then. I mean, some of the Florida people did, just because South Carolina and Florida were close together. In this Jacksonville tournament, we'd get up, drive the 5 hours, pull, drive 5 hours back. My kids were like 5 and 7, so they weren't traveling with me at the time. And so, future Toddzilla, the apple of grandmothers everywhere, grandmother's eyes everywhere. So I beat Cleve Dean, world famous arm wrestler, used to be over 500 pounds. Dave Randall, who was like a milestone for Travis, when Travis was trying to climb up, when Travis was climbing the ranks and eventually took over number one spot in the world by beating Vovoda. Dave Randall was one of his milestones, and they pulled at the North Carolina Get a Grip tournament. That's the Dave Randall I'm talking about. So I beat both those guys. You can imagine how much money I got, right? Because nowadays, matches start at 4 figures. I mean, my price list is $3,000 if I can drive to it. So I wouldn't even go down, I wouldn't even drive that without $3,000 or $4,000. I got $300. And I was drinking a lot back then. I probably drank $400 while I was down there. But, old times, okay. One more trip up this rope. I'm not gonna. Actually, I was surprised I climbed it at all. Here we go. Thanks, kids. Call your mama, tell her you love her. Call your grandmother, tell her I love her. Bye.